Warning: this review of WandaVision Episode 8 contains spoilers. If you have not yet seen this episode and don't wish to get spoilers, do not watch this video. Otherwise, enjoy the show.
Salem, Massachusetts, 1693. Good, we get to know about Agnes. Well, Agatha.
Wait. No, I cannot control it. Only you would see me. Help me, please.
Mother? Wow. Uh-oh. Oh, Agatha. Damn, she killed the ball. Ooh, she can fly.
Mind control. A classic. Quick incantation and a feeble psyche, and you're good to go.
Oh.
Thousands of people under your thumb, all interacting with each other according to storylines. Well, and of course, there's transmutation. Reformator, figura. Years of study to achieve even the smallest convincing illusion. But Westview through your lens, Wanda. Every little detail in place, down to the crown molding. You're even running illusions miles away at the edge of town. Magic on autopilot.
Don't kill the bird.
What's your secret, sister?
Oh!
Listen, I need you. Hey, Wanda. I need you to tell me how you did this.
I didn't do anything. I'm not.
Oh! Mary Tyler Moore. That was her? Oh my god. I didn't know that. I totally forgot. She's on to this show. And that's how she got so influenced with the hair and everything. The kitchen, the style, the husband. Aww. Dick Van Dyke when they were all younger. She was so pretty. I guess that's when she was like, I want to be like her. Jesus Christ. I wonder if this is like a deleted scene. The Mind Stone. Oh, that looks so cool! That was so cool! Why did that give me goosebumps? Yeah, we get to see, like, when Wanda and Vision would bond together, when they would hang out. That's what we needed to see. How they started falling in love. We died?
Did he's funny because of the grievous injury the man just suffered.
No, he's not really injured.
Oh.
How can you be certain?
It's not that kind of show.
I've never experienced loss because I've never had a loved one to lose. But what is grief? If not love, persevering. Oh.
He laughs.
Sorry.
No, it was funny.
Yes, it was very funny, wasn't it?
They're so cute. I love it. Now I feel sad.
So to recap, bravo!
So what was the point of her knowing how she did it?
I know what you are. You have no idea how dangerous you are. You're supposed to be a myth, a being capable of spontaneous creation. Here you are, using it to make breakfast for dinner.
Let go of my children.
Oh yes, your children. Vision, this whole little life you've made. This is chaos magic, Wanda. But that makes you the Scarlet Witch.
Oh, it's over! Oh no! Nice costume, by the way, for Agatha. Oh, interesting story of like witch tale and all that stuff. The Scarlet Witch. Very, very interesting. Another vision. So they put them back together. That's a creepy vision. Well, let's see what's gonna happen in the next episode. Hey everybody, what's up? This is RDH Davis, and I hope you guys enjoyed my reactions to this episode of WandaVision. And tonight, yes, we're going to be talking about episode 8, so let's go ahead and get started. So first off, good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all of you. I know we're from different times. I hope everyone's doing good. I thank all of you for joining me in this conversation about WandaVision episode 8. Titled Previously On. I believe this was like the most deserved, most needed episode that a lot of us who are fans of Wanda Maximoff and Scarlet Witch, that we all deserved. And the reason why I say that is because this episode gives us a lot of information about Wanda, meaning it gives us her origin when she was little. It also gives us information about what happened right after the events of Avengers Age of Ultron, after she lost her brother. And it also talks about how it also shows us how her, Wanda, and Vision, you know, fell in love, started to like build that connection between each other. This episode was basically giving us all the deleted scenes that we needed to see about Wanda, to get to know about what she went through in her life when she was a young little girl, when she was with Hydra, and then when she joined the Avengers after the loss of her brother, and how she met with Vision. All those stuff. It was well needed, and it was brilliantly well done. Like everything was just well put together. But not only was it a wonderful episode, it was the episode where we got a lot of our questions answered. I really liked it. I really liked it a lot. So like in my previous videos, we're going to be talking about only the highlights, my theories, and you know, just the good stuff from the beginning, middle to end. Let's go ahead and get started. So in the beginning of this episode, it's very interesting to see the origin stories of Agatha. And I thought that was pretty interesting how we're getting to see not only Wanda's story, but also Agatha's origin stories. So it's like, not much happens. Just basically, like, you know, they asked her why did she betray her coven? Why is she using like dark magic? And she says like, I couldn't help it. They just worked well with her or whatever, and they all tried to kill her because I guess they thought she was a very dangerous witch to be practicing dark magic, and that backfired because it also showed how powerful Agatha is, and that she even killed her own mother, sadly. So I don't know. It's kind of sad that's a thing like, oh, you know, you can't help but you're this witch who can wield also dark magic. But not much is said about Agatha. Like, is she really a good witch or a bad witch? You know, like in Wizard of Oz. Because she was just, I don't know if she was just a curious witch that just wanted to practice dark magic, but for what reason? Is she really that bad, or is she just misunderstood? I don't know. There's still more to Agatha that I would like to learn about, and I hope we get to know more about this character before the last episode, because notice that we're only down to one episode left of WandaVision, so it's like, I hope they get to explain a little bit more about Agatha, and if they decide to kill her off, I guess oh well. But we'll see what happens in the last episode. By the way, let me just mention, I thought it was so interesting to see when, in the beginning of this episode, where Agatha's being killed by her Witch Coven sisters, when her mother casts that magic spell on her to destroy Agatha, and you see like this flame crown around her mother's head, I thought that was kind of interesting. Like, what is that? Why are they showing like that crown? Is it a resemblance of like, well, what Wanda will be wearing soon? You know, when she wore that costume of, you know, the Sokovian fortune teller. I thought, is it supposed to be a resemblance of that? And also, you know, later on when Wanda touched one of the Infinity Stones and she saw a vision of herself in the future wearing the Scarlet Witch outfit. But we'll get to that in a bit. I just thought that was so interesting. Like, why does that witch have that certain blue crown? Is it a resemblance of like what Wanda will be wearing? Is that her crown as well as a witch? It's so interesting to see, like, does Wanda come from the same witch coven? You know what I mean? But we'll get to that soon in a bit. Let's go on with what happens next. So after we get a little bit of Agatha's origin story, when she used to be in the Salem witches' time, we go back in the present time where Agatha and Wanda are having their conversation. And I get one of my questions answered, which is, if you guys remember, if you guys saw my previous video, I was wondering when Wanda walked into this underground dungeon room, I was wondering what were those symbols on the ceiling, close to the ceiling. And we get our answer that they're called runes, and they're like basically protection spells for the witch who casts them, which is why Wanda couldn't like hurt or used her powers on Agatha. So Wanda's helpless in that room unless she gets out of there. What was interesting was when Agatha was telling Wanda, how do you not know the fundamentals of the witch spells, you know, stuff like that. And Wanda's just like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Who are you? And then Agatha's just like, who are you? That's the real question. Like, who are you? This whole time, like, you've been living this life not knowing who you really are. And I thought, maybe this is finally the moment where Wanda's going to learn who she really is, who she's meant to be. I don't know. But I thought that was very interesting when Agatha was asking her all these questions. And then when she mentions that I was the one, that sent that fake Pietro into your home to get some answers, which is like, why is Agatha so determined to know how Wanda cast this spell, or how Wanda created this whole fantasy world? Because notice this whole episode, that's been her main goal, to find out, like, how does she do it? How does she bring Vision back to life? How does she create this whole fantasy world? She just is so determined to know. But why, I wonder? And it explains why Pietro, fake Pietro, was asking her the same things, like, how did you do it and all that good stuff. So it's kind of like Agatha was just using him to get information. There's still one question that I have, though, and forgive me if I probably didn't catch it yet, but I was wondering, like, where did Agatha come from? Like, how did she come into this fantasy world that Wanda created? Did she live in Westview? Was she there when Wanda casted her spell? Because she mentioned how when I sensed this place, like, a whole bunch of spells were casted at the same time. I couldn't figure it out. I had to come here. So was she from another town, from another area? So I'm not sure. I'm still not sure if she's from Westview, or if she was from another town and she just sensed that Wanda casted this huge, powerful magic spell, and she came to investigate like who did it. If you guys know the real answer, please let me know, because I'm just still in that question. I'm so curious of like if she lived in the same town of Westview. And let me just add that I was definitely wrong about my theory in my previous videos of WandaVision. From what I understood, I thought Agatha was the one who created this world, but no, Davis, it was Wanda. She created this fantasy world, and I think that's when Agatha came into this world, she started like manipulating it little by little, trying to get answers of like how Wanda did it. So it wasn't fully Agatha doing all this in the first place. It was still Wanda, she was still in control, but then Agatha started to mess things around in her world. And I gotta say, the actress who's playing Agatha, I think she's done a really good job of playing such different roles for the character, like a goofy character to now, in this episode, you just see her playing like a very serious character, which I like a lot. So I gotta give it to her. She's doing a really good job.
Westview through your lens, Wanda. Every little detail in place, down to the crown molding. You're even running illusions miles away at the edge of town. Magic on autopilot. What's your secret, sister?
So like I said in the previous video of my review of WandaVision, not only was I very interested in getting to know who Agatha is, but I really wanted to know what is her goal, and what is her goal with Wanda? What does she want with Wanda? And her wanting to know, like, how did you do it that you created this whole fantasy world? Because your magic is going past the edge of this town, even far, yards beyond here. What's your secret? She's very well determined. I don't know if she's just jealous of Wanda, or she wants her to do something that will benefit Agatha. You know what I mean? There lies that. I still have that question, though.
I need you to tell me how you did this.
I didn't do anything. I'm not.
I tried to be gentle, to nudge you away from this ridiculous fantasy, but you'd rather fall apart than face your truth. You left me no choice.
So let me just say, I felt like in Agatha in this episode, like I said, I can't tell if she's good or bad, but so far I'm getting like this, I can't help but to get this bad vibe from her. But I can't help but to notice that throughout this whole episode, as she's like, what do you call it? She's that character that in the Christmas Carol movie where the Ghost of Christmas Past or something, where she takes Wanda through her past to the present to, you know, different times of her life, trying to get her to understand, like, to face the truth. And I felt like, in a way, she was trying to help Wanda, but also helping herself, of getting the answer of, like, how Wanda did it. But also helping Wanda to understand and to face her inner demons that she's tried to forget in her past. Which kind of sucks because, you know, sometimes you don't want to be reminded of your past if you had a very traumatic life. You know, sometimes you want to forget about it. But I remember there was a part where she says, where Agatha tells Wanda, like, you know, the only way to move forward is to go backwards. Meaning, like, yeah, you have to look back at the past in order for you to move forward. So you can learn from what happened, your mistakes, in order for you to, like, you know, move on with your life. And by the way, we have no idea what happened to Monica or where Vision's at. Why is he taking so darn long to get to Wanda if he's already flying to get to Wanda's house? It's like, who knows what's going on with them, but I'm pretty sure we're going to find out in the final episode of WandaVision. Oh my goodness.
All right, let's go.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you forget who's got your children stashed away in her bewitched basement? That's right.
So in my last video, I forgot to mention, like, one of the questions that I have for this episode was that whatever happened to Wanda's children, like, where are they at? And is Agatha the one responsible for the disappearances of, like, some of the children in this town? Well, not some, but all the children in this town. Because notice that there was a moment in episode 7 when Wanda was pouring her milk. During the time when Wanda's furniture and everything else in her house was like changing back in time, when she was pouring the milk into the cereal, you notice that there's a picture of a missing child on the milk cartridge. So I wonder if Agatha is the one responsible for the disappearances of all these children, and why. If not, why? If not, is it Wanda the one responsible for all these missing children? And why too? Why did she take the children out of the picture in this world? So we come to the part where we learn about Wanda's origins, to the part where we get to see how she lost her parents when she was a little girl. And also we get another one of our questions answered. If you remember in my previous videos of WandaVision, my review of WandaVision, I was still wondering, like, why is Wanda's fantasy world in this style where it's like I Love Lucy, Bewitched, and Dick Van Dyke, all these popular comedy shows, sitcoms, why are they all in this world? Why this kind of style? And we finally get our answer. When she was very little, we see that her parents, she would sit down with her parents and watch all those sitcoms, I Love Lucy and Dick Van Dyke, all those sitcoms when she was very little. She would watch it with her little brother, and she would watch it with her mom and dad. They were her favorite shows to watch when she was little. They were her shows that she would use to escape. Meaning, like, we noticed that throughout this episode, we noticed that there were moments that we saw her watching her sitcoms. When she was with Hydra, she was still watching the Brady Bunch. After she lost her brother, she was watching Malcolm in the Middle. And, I guess there were her movies that would, her therapy movies, I guess you could say. Movies that will help her, forget about her problems. Shows that would help her forget about her problems. And I'm pretty sure we all do that, don't we? Whenever we have something going on with our lives, we want to have a moment to escape, so we put on a video game or a movie that would help us, forget about all that traumatic stuff. To forget about our bad days. And I guess these were Wanda's escapes. So I'm glad that they explained that. I was like, okay, so that makes all total sense of why Wanda created this whole world in this kind of style. And now that I think about it, I want to do some research of, like, how did these sitcoms started, like, with Dick Van Dyke and I Love Lucy. I wonder if they started doing these to really help people with depression back in the days, because back then a lot of stuff was going on for people that, I'm pretty sure they were feeling so sad and scared of, like, what's going to happen in their lives. But then shows like Dick Van Dyke, I Love Lucy, and Bewitched, I think those were people's escape, to forget about what's going on in the world, that little escape. And then watching Wanda, those shows when she was little was just so beautiful. And it reminded me, when I was little, I would used to watch those shows too, because they were just so funny, and then they would just make you laugh and just so cheerful. It was like a good medicine. I kind of wish we still had those shows. I mean, we still do. We could watch them from Hulu and other apps. But I was like, we don't get a lot of shows like that anymore. And I kind of miss those kind of shows. They were really good.
I don't want to go back there. I know you don't. But it's good medicine, Angel. The only way forward is back.
So after we see a flashback about Wanda when she was little and how she lost her parents, which, by the way, was really sad to see, now we get to the part where she was with Hydra. We see another memory of her when she used to be with Hydra. And I couldn't help but to wonder if this was like a deleted scene that they didn't put in Avengers Age of Ultron. And then when you see the Tesseract, I was just like, oh. And I forgot that. Well, what was the power of that Tesseract? Like, what was that Infinity Stone? Did it have the power? It wasn't the Time Stone. I know I mentioned in my reaction video, I said it was the Time Stone, which it's not. It's something else. When she touches that stone, and then it transformed. I thought like it transformed into like the Mind Stone. I thought she was seeing the future or something. How she was gonna meet up with Vision or something. But instead, we get like this very epic scene that just gave me goosebumps. We see that Wanda sees herself as the Scarlet Witch, wearing her famous, Scarlet Witch costume, but it looked really nice. I didn't see the cape or anything. I guess her cape is now on her waist or something. But that part just It got me so excited because I was just like, oh my god! It was so cool to see that. So it makes me wonder. It makes us all wonder, are we gonna see her in that costume? Is that where, are we seeing the birth of the Scarlet Witch? Is this the story of the birth of Scarlet Witch? You know what I mean? Because she's always been called Wanda Maximoff, but she hasn't been called the Scarlet Witch yet, you know. Not until like the end of this episode where Agatha calls her, you are the Scarlet Witch. But it's like, are we going to see that costume? Which I hope. It's going to be very exciting once we see her in that costume. It's going to look so epic. And I can't wait to see how it looks, because you couldn't see that well of how it looks, but it looks really cool. I can't wait to see it all, because it was just so, you couldn't see it that well, but woo, I'm so excited. But let me just say this, I think she does see like what was happening in the future, because not only does she see the Mind Stone, she doesn't see Vision, she just sees the stone and how it just self-destructs. I think that was like a moment where when Wanda had to kill Vision in order to destroy the Infinity Stone, and, you know, it caused that huge explosion. I think that's what happened. And then when she sees herself as the Scarlet Witch, I think that's what we're going to see happen next. Soon, very soon. Maybe not the end of this episode, but maybe in the future Marvel movies, or who knows, but it's coming. It's giving us a prediction or a vision of like what's to come.
So, little orphan Wanda got up close and personal with an Infinity Stone that amplified what otherwise would have died on the vine. The broken pieces of you are adding up, Buttercup. I have a theory. I need more.
I too have a theory, Agatha. I also need more. So after we see the flashbacks when Wanda used to be with Hydra, we now move on to another memory of Wanda, of what happened after the events of Avengers Age of Ultron, after she lost her brother. This was the part where I was so happy to see. This was the moment that I think a lot of us needed to see, where she and Vision, you know, have their moments where they connect, of how Wanda and Vision started to fall in love with each other. Because it helps us understand, how did she started falling in love with Vision? And I loved how they both sat down together and they started talking. Vision just being there for Wanda, just really, I'm pretty sure it's what really helped her, you know, let her guard down a little bit, but, you know, just to help her feel better. And it's kind of sad to think about it, like, you know, this is why she's in this very deep depression with herself, because, you know, not only that she lost her parents, I'm pretty sure she had her brother to help her get through the pain and suffering, the loss of her family. You know, they were both there for each other. But now that she didn't have her brother, I'm pretty sure she just felt helpless, like she just didn't know what she was going to do now without her brother. But when Vision came into the picture and was there for her, you know, like I said, I've said it before, I'm pretty sure I've said it before in one of the Avenger movies reviews, where you have to understand, you know, the moment when Wanda had to destroy Vision, you need to understand how sad and emotional that part was. Because Vision was the one person that helped her crawl out of a very dark hole and back into the light. And she fell in love, you know, and she just fell in love with Vision. And I understand that, because it's like, you know, who wouldn't? Because Vision is such a kind and loving person, you just can't help but to fall in love with this character. And I think it's so romantic of like how they just became to be. And it's so sad of like, you know, how it all came to an end. If you think about it, where was everyone else to comfort her? I mean, I really hope that there were others who were there to comfort her, some of the members from the Avengers. But just seeing Vision sitting down with Wanda and talking with her.
Wanda, I don't presume to know what you're feeling, but I would like to know. Should you wish to tell me, should that be of some comfort to you?
What makes you think that talking about it would bring me comfort?
Oh, see, I read that...
The only thing that would bring me comfort is seeing him again.
I love how he was there for her. And I don't know. I think seeing this episode really helps you understand, like, why was she so willing to bring Vision back? Because he really was the one who brought her out of the darkness. And I have to say, Elizabeth Olsen's
performance in this scene. I think this isn't a good episode that shows you a good example of like what people go through with depression, especially a character like Wanda, who has been through so much. Sometimes, you know, as you try to move on with your life, hoping that things will get better, and something else happens again, you can't help but to like go back into that dark place. I think Elizabeth Olsen delivered this performance beautifully and magnificently. And I don't know, it just, you can't help but to, for those of us who go through that depression, you can't help but to relate to her. Because it's like when she says, every time I try to stand up and get back again, it just backfires, basically, I guess is what she's trying to say. And I could understand that. But, and then her, this is kind of sad just thinking about it. This was such an emotional episode, by the way. But her, like, you know, seeing Vision, being there for her, trying to help her, and just bringing her out from that darkness, and then losing him, it's like, Wanda's been through so much, man. And it's like, oh, it's so sad. It's just, she has a very sad story. And I can't blame her for doing what she did, creating this whole new fantasy world. I remember I talked about it in, what was it, my review of episode 6 or 7. I talked about it with you guys, saying how, like, what would you do if you were in her shoes? You lost your parents, you lost your brother, and you met someone who could bring you out of the darkness and brought you to life again, who brought meaning into your life again, where you're just like, I can be happy again, especially if I'm with this person. But then you lose him. What would you do if you were in her shoes? What would you do if you had the opportunity to bring them, you know, back? If you could if you can bring back everything that you've lost in the past, and then have them in your life again. Could be your father, a child, a husband, a wife. You know, what would you do? Wouldn't you fall into that temptation to have them in your life once again? And create this whole fantasy world where you get everything that you ever wanted? I would. I definitely would. Even though I know it would be a bad idea, or it would come with a price. But if I've been through so much, you know, I don't know. A lot of people would say, "Oh, I wouldn't." But like I said in the past, you don't know, because you probably haven't had that happen to you at all. Not yet, hopefully never. But when it does happen, then you fully understand how it feels to be in that other person's position. And for Wanda, life is just being really unfair with her, you know, and it's really hard for her to probably move on. But it makes me wonder, was there anybody there to help her with this grief? You know, there was this thing that somebody posted up in the internet, and also in social media, how in the end of Avengers Endgame, mostly everybody got what they wanted. Mostly everybody got sort of like their happy ending, except for Iron Man, you know. But for Wanda, you know, Ant-Man got his family back. Black Panther also got his family back. He came back. Hawkeye also got his family back. But what about Wanda? Who does she get back? Although Hawkeye, you know, didn't get back his best friend, Black Widow, still it's like, what about Wanda? But like I said, I wonder, like, was there anybody there to help Wanda out during those desperate times, or everybody else during that time? I don't know. But at this point, seeing Vision coming to her during the time when she lost her brother, it's like, I really hope one of the members from the Avengers came to her and tried to help her out. But like she said, you think talking about it is going to make me feel better? I want him back. So she probably didn't talk about it, even though they offered to help her out and, you know, listen to what she's got to say and how she feels. But with Vision, he was able to, you know, communicate with her and connect with her, which is why I like this scene so much, because you finally get to see how they connect, Wanda and Vision, and how they start to relate to each other. And, you know, most of the time, you know, when you relate to someone, it brings you both closer together. And I remember after watching Captain America, the Civil War, a lot of people were like, all of a sudden Wanda and Vision are together now. It's like, well, I was like, well, why not? You know, they probably got the time to, you know, get to know each other and start building up something special from there. But I felt like with this scene, it really does help a lot with Wanda's story of like how that happened. And I'm really glad they added that to help us understand Wanda's story. It was well needed. Like I said, this episode was a well needed episode to fill in the pieces that we needed for Wanda's story. So after we saw that part, we now move on to the part where we get another question answered, and what really happened in this scene. We get to the part where Wanda goes to that facility where they were keeping Vision, where she wanted him back so she can give him a proper burial, a burial that he deserved, which she also deserved to you know, finally say her goodbye. Because like she said, when she went back after what happened after in Avengers Endgame, he was no longer there. After she returned back from wherever she disappeared to, they already got him. These people who went to go get him. And then you get to see what really happens is that she didn't go in there, infiltrated the facility, and stole back Vision. They allowed her to come in. They just buzzed her in. The only thing that she did was like, she forced the doors open the moment she walks in. That's it. And other than that, they allowed her, they opened up the doors for her. And she did break the glass when she saw poor Vision was torn in pieces. And by the way, that was so sad. I'm pretty sure that was like a very sad moment for her. Watching the love of her life being torn to pieces. Imagine how she must have felt. Ugh. But anyways, when she destroyed the glass and flew down to touch Vision, I guess one more time, his face, and when she said, I can't feel you. And then that's when I guess she said her final goodbye. She didn't steal him. It was all fake news. That guy, that director or whatever, it was all just lies. For what? He's been trying to make Wanda look like the bad guy from the very beginning. And then what happens later at the end credits? Ugh. Him saying that their mission was to destroy Vision because so he wouldn't be used as a weapon. But then look what they did. Look what they turned him into at the end of the end credits. We'll get to that in a moment, but I just wanted to punch that guy, man. And notice when that director, that guy, the asshole, was telling Wanda, like, look, no amount of magic or power is going to bring this machine back to life. And she's like, whoever said that I wanted to bring him to life, I just want him back. He's like, are you sure that's what you just want? Of course, and everything. It made me realize, like, yeah, when she went back to retrieve Vision, she wanted to get him back and bury him, give him a proper burial to say her last goodbye. I'm pretty sure she had no intention of that, bringing him back to life. Not until she went to Westview. That's when she created her own fantasy world and created her own Vision. Now we also get another question answered. One of my biggest questions was like, is she using the same dead body of Vision to give this new Vision life? Because, you know, there were moments when she saw this new Vision dead, and then she saw Pietro, you know, dead with the bullet holes. It gave us that answer where it's not the same Vision. It's not the same Vision that died. This whole new Vision that Wanda created was created by her own power, her own magic. So I thought that was very interesting. So after we learned the truth of what really happened at the facility when Wanda went to go retrieve Vision, she didn't steal him. It was all just fake news. They all lied just to make Wanda look bad. And they were secretly using Vision to create another powerful weapon. After that, when Wanda goes to Westview, the one place that Vision and Wanda talked about in Avengers Infinity War, remember in that scene where they were talking about running away together or something? And I guess this was the place that Vision wanted them to have a home. She comes to Westview and notice how the town is all depressing and bitter and just messy. And the people there are just so boring and bored and just looking like they're miserable. And I thought, well, it seems like when she went there and she created this whole new fantasy world, you know, imprisoning these civilians in her fantasy world, they looked much happier in her world. You know what I mean? I think she made it better in her fantasy world. She gave Westview life again. And the people, like, you know, they were much more happier. They were just all, hi, howdy neighbor. You know. So I think she just made it better when you think about it. So when she goes to the area where their future house was going to be, the moment that you see her open the letter and it said, to grow old in, V. And I thought, V, oh, Vision. I was like, this whole episode was just so sad, man, so depressing. I literally almost cried. I was beginning to tear up because it's like, I really wanted them to have a life together. I really wanted them to escape and just, you know, be in love with each other and just be happy together. And then now that she realizes everything that's happened to her, she just starts to break down. And out of that sadness and sorrow and loss, she just like takes that moment and just like builds her fantasy world. And I'm just like, that scene was just so beautiful. It looks so badass. I loved the way she looked. My little flaw though is if she would have just given a louder, epic yell of pain, that would have been a little bit better. But it was still good. It was still good. And as she was now creating her fantasy world in Westview, you see her creating this new vision. And I'm just like, there goes another one of our questions answered. She really did bring Vision to life, but not in the way that I thought. And I'm pretty sure a lot of us thought the way she did it. She just gave birth. That sounds wrong. She just gave life to a whole new Vision. So it explains why this Vision has no memory of who he was back in the past. This is a whole brand new Vision where he has no memory of where he came from or what happened to him. He just knows that he sees Wanda and just is in love with her.
I know what you are. You have no idea how dangerous you are. You're supposed to be a myth, a being capable of spontaneous creation. Here you are, using it to make breakfast for dinner.
Let go of my children.
Oh yes, your children. Vision. This whole little life you've made. This is chaos magic, Wanda. But that makes you the Scarlet Witch.
So, we finally get to see Agatha's costume, which I love, by the way. It looks really nice. And then her hair and makeup, I was just like, I like it. I like it a lot. I like her appearance and everything. So, let's talk about Agatha and what's been her goal. This whole episode, not only just this episode, but this whole time, this whole series, she's been trying to find out who Wanda is. How did she do it? How did she create this whole world? That's been her goal, to figure out how the hell she did this. And it makes me wonder, why is she so determined to figure out, for her to know how Wanda did this? Like I said a while ago, is she jealous? But I feel like, but I can't help but to feel like there's more to it than that. I feel like now that she discovered how Wanda did it, she understands that every time she lost someone she loved, she gets more powerful and powerful. For example, when she lost her brother Pietro in Avengers Age of Ultron, you saw like when the moment she broke down, she destroyed all those machines around her by just one blast. Then in Avengers Infinity War, after she lost Vision, you got to see how powerful she is. She got even stronger. I think she got even stronger, or maybe she's begun to understand her true abilities. that she was able to take on Thanos, and she almost could have killed him, but then she got interrupted. And now this one, seeing Agatha putting her children in danger, it's like if she's trying to get her to do something. It's like she knows, like, okay, now I understand how Wanda did this. Every time she loses somebody, she gets more powerful. Well, you know what? I'm going to put her children in danger, and let's see what this witch does. Let's see how powerful she can become. And it's like, why are you doing this, Agatha? Like, what is your goal? What do you want with Wanda? Why are you pushing her to go to that extent? It's gonna backfire. You know what I mean? It's like, girl, you may have learned how she did this, but you haven't learned how dangerous. I mean, she knows she's dangerous, but you don't know how dangerous this could backfire to your plan. Whatever it is that you're planning, Agatha, it's gonna backfire on you because you don't want to piss off Wanda. We've already known that. That's the one question I still have. It's like, what is your goal, Agatha? Why are you trying to get Wanda to do this? My theory is this. Is she trying to get her to become the Scarlet Witch? I mean, she knows she's the Scarlet Witch, which, by the way, when she says that, I know who you are, the Scarlet Witch. It's kind of like the Scarlet Letter or something. It's like, oh, this is an interesting story about the Scarlet Witch, the outcast. You know what I mean? And the moment she says that you're too dangerous, what does she say?
You have no idea how dangerous you are. This whole little life you've made. This is chaos magic, Wanda. That makes you the Scarlet Witch.
And then when Agatha starts talking to Wanda, telling her how you have no idea how dangerous you are, and this whole fantasy world you created is chaos magic. It's like, bitch, excuse me for saying, but I'm just like, bitch, who made you witch police? It's like, you were also considered a bad, dangerous witch back in your Salem times. Your own mother tried to kill you because she knew, like, what you're doing is very dangerous. And yet, all of a sudden, you're the one who's talking about, like, oh, you're too dangerous, Wanda? It's like, who the heck are you to say that? Look who's talking. So, in the next episode, the final episode of WandaVision, I really hope to see a really badass witch fight between Agatha and Wanda. Although, now I think, my theory that I had in the last review of WandaVision of episode 8, of episode 7, I thought, like, there's going to be Agatha versus Wanda, and then who's Vision going to fight? Another person that's been working with Agatha? I think it's come to the conclusion where my theory that Agatha has been working with someone else, I don't think that's going to happen. I think I've been wrong. I think Agatha is not the villain, but she looks the part right now. But I don't think this theory that I had, that Agatha versus Wanda and then Vision versus somebody else, may be a possible someone that Agatha's been working with. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Agatha has been solo this whole time, and I don't think she's been working with anybody. Maybe Pietro might come into the picture, the fake Pietro, but who knows. But we still have Vision that's coming in, and then during the end credits scene, we get to see, that jerk, the director, the guy who kept Vision's corpse this whole time, and supposedly said that, oh, we need to destroy this machine because he could be used as a possible weapon. By the way, this white-looking Vision looked really creepy to me. So it's like, oh boy, are we going to see this Wanda's Vision versus the new White Vision fight against each other? You know what I mean? That would be interesting. And are the children going to help out since they have powers too? And where the heck's Monica? I did mention it a while ago, so where the heck's Monica? Who knows? Maybe she's not going to be able to use her power. Also about Monica, I think they still need to explain a little bit more about Monica and her new abilities. Is that going to go away when all this is over, or is she going to keep it permanently? Who knows? There's so many things that could happen in the final episode, and I really hope it's more than 30 minutes because it's the final episode, guys, and I feel like give us an hour. Give us a 2-episode final premiere or something, because I feel like they still need to explain a little bit more, but at the same time, maybe it might all just work out at the end. But like I said, I have worries. What's going to happen in the final episode? When this is all over, when Wanda changes Westview back to normal, is she now going to become an enemy to the world? Are people going to see her as a very dangerous mutant or dangerous superhero? This is my concern. In the last episode, when this is all over, if she turns Westview back to normal, back to the way it was, and she frees the people from her hex or spell or whatever, or from her magic or whatever it is, how are they going to see her? How are the people in the town going to see her? I don't think they could be forgiving, because not understanding who she was, who she is, where she came from, why she did it, those people are not going to understand. Those people are going to be angry because Wanda took them away from their boring lives and forced them to live her fantasy world. So I'm pretty sure they're going to be very angry with her, and they are also going to see her as an enemy. That's my worry about that. What's going to happen to Wanda when all this is over? I'm pretty sure a lot of people in the town, but not only in the town, I'm pretty sure it's going to come on the news everywhere of what happened to Westview, and Wanda's name is going to be mentioned, that a lot of people are going to start to fear her. And that kind of worries me for Wanda and for her future and for her children. Which reminds me, I don't know what's going to happen with her children too. Will they be with her when all this is over? Or will they disappear along with this fantasy world of Westview? Who knows? Is she going to be able to keep this vision that she created with her power? Is Agatha... Are we still going to see Agatha? Are they going to kill her off? Or are they going to keep her around, you know? And are we going to see a certain someone, a special surprise character come out in the final episode? Who knows? Who knows? Anything could happen, guys. But it's all leading up to the final moments where anything could happen. I really hope there's a lot of excitement. I really hope there's a fight, because I'm pretty sure a lot of us have been waiting for a big epic fight. But yeah, this was a very good episode, guys. It was really sad, but it was, like I said in the beginning, it was a well-needed episode that a lot of us who are fans of Scarlet Witch and Wanda Maximoff deserved. It filled in a lot of pieces that were missing of her story. We got a lot of questions answered in this episode, but now it all comes down to the final epic one. Well, let's hope it's an epic final episode. So, alright. Well, thank you all so very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed my review of WandaVision episode 8. And I hope to see you all in my last review of WandaVision episode 9. And I would like for you all to tell me, what are your thoughts and theories of what could happen in the final episode? I would love to know. I would love to know. But yes, thank you all once again for watching. And I'll see you all next time in my final review of WandaVision episode 9. Take care of yourselves. Laters!